Okay, we're here. Let's do this.
All right,
Hey,
we're here. Let's
what's
do this.
up,
Hello.
Peter? Back on the beat.
Are you going to do any intro or anything?
No.
This is a beta
So,
test.
so we are going to do a very special episode of Propaganda Fluent where we are speaking with Peter Feliciano. He runs a media platform specifically about telling people where to go and what to do
Is
when
that
you
what it
get
is?
there. No, he
Right.
brings like you are definitely. So I'm going to be starting this series called Masters of Messaging. I did one with Teach 'em Chuck, but a master of messaging. Like you are the last hope. Insert Jedi meme.
That's what I've been fucking telling you people. I'm the greatest of all fucking time.
Yes,
No one is better than me.
literally.
Anyway, continue
Yeah,
praising me. What do you
trying
say?
to basically, we need to get conservatives to pull their head out of their ass, which is so far shoved up in there,
Yeah.
about how perfect and amazing and wonderful they are, and everybody else is just dumb. And that seems to be their main messaging point. So it's kind of annoying. It's kind of annoying, and I'm really glad we have people like you to actually be here to communicate, to share the message, and
Thank you very much.
change the culture. Change the
Yeah.
culture.
Yeah. So
So
I have a podcast called Conservatish, everybody. You can find me on Instagram at Peter_Feliciano and on, fucking YouTube and on the Twitter, Rule 62 Peter. But my show, straight from the beginning, I am very interested in telling stories that don't normally get told and humanizing the often dehumanizing and all that fucking shit. But on a visceral level, I think it's extremely important to be honest. My main fight is honesty, connection, and fulfillment. If those three are lacking, it's not going to work.
no.
Right? The culture war is not going to work. It's not our fight, our whatever is not going to work. And so ultimately that means for me that I have a show where you can talk about, how white liberals are the devil and how you like to eat ass in the same episode. Right. That's the thing.
Exactly.
It's just bringing the
Exactly.
worlds together and the cheeks apart, like bringing this. and this is
Worlds
because I
Together,
think,
Cheeks Apart, the memoir of Peter Feliciano.
I swear to God. Because I think it's such a fucking shame that, over and over, especially the worse that Biden does, the worse that the left is doing, the crazier they've gotten. There's a lot of quote unquote politically homeless. Listen, if you believe that you're politically homeless, and of course I'm talking to the amateurs, I'm not talking to politicians because they're all demons. If you believe you're politically homeless, you're not actually politically homeless. You're only politically homeless from the caricatures of what you've been sold. What do I mean by that? The caricatures of the left is everyone's a blue hair crazy, everything's racist, blah, 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 right? And I'll get to that in a second. But the caricature of the right that you could fit into, right? The conservative, Republican, whatever you want to call it, you think that those people, us, whatever, that we're a caricature, that we're all, living in fucking Wyoming. I would say no offense
Yes.
to anybody in Wyoming, but I mean, there's 5 motherfuckers there anyway. Number 2, cousin fucking, literally all racist, right? This is the caricature, someone with a red hat going, patriot, patriot, patriot. And what my message is, and I think you do a very good job of this as well, is that's just a caricature. Now, you could say, and I hope you're all right with just me ranting real quick, when it's your fucking show, whatever.
Definitely.
But you could say, as a lot of libertarians do, and I think it's a pertinent saying that, well, the politics are just 2 wings of the same bird. Okay, all right, maybe, but one wing is wanting to cut off baby dicks,
I
right? Like,
that's what I'm saying.
right? Like one wing called themselves anti-racist and then segregated 60% of black people in America, right?
Yeah.
Because only
Yeah.
60%, only 40.5% of black Americans got
The jibby jab.
got the
Yeah.
thing. Only one side of the wing wants government bigger. right? Even though
Yeah.
literally 6 years ago wanted government to be smaller. So only
Yeah.
one side is let's fix the bleeding is my thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then secondly, you're not actually homeless, because if you look around and you really talk to conservatives, they're not like that.
No.
I only know, and by know, I mean I follow maybe 3 conservatives online who are like anti-gay marriage, as an example. Like only 3. The rest of
Yeah.
them are like, yeah, we didn't like that, but it's probably a slippery slope thing, but or maybe it's just them, taking advantage. It's the left taking advantage, it's the government taking advantage, but whatever. Like almost all of the conservatives I know and enjoy gay people, right? Almost all of the
Mm-hmm.
conservatives I know or at least follow at least a couple transies, right? So
Yeah.
my thing is you think you're politically homeless, you're not actually politically homeless. And
Mm-hmm.
if we're going to fix that caricatured narrative, we have to be out there doing what we're doing right now.
Exactly. I couldn't have said it better. You're so accurate as always.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's just a terrible, terrible media campaign waged by the conservatives. They don't control any of the narratives. They're always just, responding, reacting, freaking out, and gawking. That's
Yeah.
pretty much all they do. Like, did you see
Right.
that trans run it? Ah! Like, it's ridiculous. So, yeah, it takes time. It takes people, mature, responsible people who have lived in the world, people who didn't just, people who don't think that, people who are exploring, let's say, exploring the idea that perhaps going back to the Holy Roman Empire might not be the only solution to fixing the culture war.
Right.
That's we can have something a little less than a Grand Inquisition, but I don't know.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Well, as an example, this guy I posted, I've had this series and it's gained some good traction, which is cool.
Yeah, very
Um,
good series.
it's called Based Black Uber Driver. I got in an episode, or I'm doing a song actually, because I am a musician, everybody. I'm a singer songwriter first before a podcaster. And I have a show in Austin, January 14th, this upcoming Saturday at Swan Dive. So if you don't come, you're racist. Um, so I'm doing a song with Diana Death. You know Diana Death
I
on
don't believe I've heard
Instagram.
of her. No.
Yeah, punk Latina in San Diego.
Mm.
She's a badass,
Latina
and she's
X. Latina
right.
X.
And she's like legit punk. She's not this turncoat, pro government punk. Um, but she and I are doing a song, so I went out to San Diego, record her a little bit. And then I forgot my, laptop cord at the hotel. So I take an Uber back to the hotel, and there's this black guy. And for some reason, I don't know how we got into the conversation, but suddenly one of us mentions something, and I'm like, oh no, this dude's based. Oh shit. And we just
Let's
start
take it.
and and we just start doing it. And it's 6 episodes or 6 little videos. And it's on my YouTube and on Instagram and on Twitter, but I'm barely on there. So one guy commented, why I'm bringing that up, one guy commented, because the black guy in the video was talking about the NRA. One guy commented, the NRA set up gun ranges to teach blacks how to shoot firearms to protect themselves. And I said, really? Why haven't, and I fucking added, the NRA done a better job marketing that? We should all know that.
Yeah,
Right.
no.
And the
Yes,
guy's
definitely.
like, well, it was you who shouldn't, you should, I'm not defense is shocked that you and apparently others didn't know. How could you be shocked? You fucking patriot glasses in your fucking truck wearing motherfucker. You should not be shocked. The NRA should not be shocked. Conservatives, you should not be shocked that people don't know this. Okay. We have done a piss poor job, and not me and Layla, because we're fucking incredible, but y'all, the
Literally.
movement has done a piss poor job of talking about what we actually are and what we actually do.
Mhm.
And explaining. I mean, I remember I was at Mike Harlow's house once. We were watching one of the fucking debates, and the whole time Mike is just screaming at the TV. It's between Trump and Biden. He's just screaming, talk about the HBCUs, Talk about the First Step Act. Talk about the good shit you've done for black people. You've actually done concrete, great shit for black people, Trump. What the fuck is wrong with you? That's really, I mean, Trump is a perfect example of that, who did not do a good job and still doesn't of adequately courting. And I'm sorry, it's gonna, and you're, I know you're of all people, you talk a lot about it, but courting the black vote, courting the politically homeless.
Yeah, exactly. And I love that you brought that point up because time and time and time and time again, we see examples of how they don't communicate the benefits, they don't reframe these wild allegations that the left will throw at people. Like I was, to piggyback off the Trump example, I was watching a Jordan Peterson episode where he was discussing, how fossil fuels were actually good for the planet and how they lift people out of poverty and all of these things, and real data to back it up. And he was talking to the author of The Moral Argument for Fossil Fuels. And early on, when they had this like carbon emission, catastrophic, like premonition that they set out, and this argument, this theory that it would ruin the planet. And in fact, when you have more carbon, you have more lush vegetation. Things are getting greener because there's more oxygen. The plants aren't losing water at the same rate that they usually would if they have less of this in the air. And no one brought that up. No one mentioned that. No one argued for that. They just say, "Oh, okay." They just say, "Oh, they just I don't know what it is." It seems at this point like it's almost intentional sabotage because this could bring it back to the two wings of the same bird thing. Sure. Because when you don't have any counter arguments, like there's literally zero counter arguments for these things, and they just run rampant for years and decades. It's like, are they just doing this on purpose? Part of me believes they could be, perhaps, but the other part of me realizes these people are not at all creatives. They're not at all in the soft science. They're wearing pleated pants up until like 7 months ago. Like they're not ready for it. Okay. They're not making Instagram slideshows. So yeah, there's so many opportunities. And this is for anybody watching. There's so many opportunities where you can counter the narrative. If you even at all counter the narrative, even slightest, that is making headway. That is making room because again, you have to understand who it is you're targeting. Who are you talking to? Someone who views themselves as a victim. Do you think a victim is really going to have a lot? Like if you have that firm ground and a firm counter argument, do you think they're going to really have a lot to say? No, they don't. They just freak out. They have panic attacks. They have, mental breakdowns when you say that men are men and women are women. Like this is where you're at. They're like at the edge. So at least if you're not witty, if you're not, Peter, if you can't come up with something fun and cute and witty and fun and sexy, then at least just say, no, actually, no. Like, and here's one that I'm thinking of too. The next time someone says it's a conspiracy theory, we need to start saying, oh no, this is just social engineering. Because people don't know what that is. And so you open them up to this realm of how all of these different agendas are somehow interrelated. Because they are. The way that they're poisoning our food, our air, changing the way we're going to have changing the monetary system. All of these things are working together, interrelated, but they're just passed off as conspiracies, but in fact, they're just social engineering. So just dazzle them a little. Think of them as a type of animal that you can sort of distract. Do a little articulate jig. I don't know. What do you think about that?
So I think having an adequate argument is really important. Having logic, research, whatever. Yeah. But I also think just making them look cringe. Yeah. Is really the main thing. Because what has been the main push for let's see. So have you ever watched the A Century of Self?
No, I haven't seen that.
It's a documentary. I think it's still on YouTube. I don't know who did it. I watched it
They
probably
probably
5,
took it
6
off
years
if
ago.
it was that good.
They may have. But it's a documentary essentially talking about advertising. Okay. And how
I've heard of it. Yeah.
And how it turned into all about you. and how in the, you know, in the 40s and 50s, in the 40s it was like, if you're a good American, you have to buy this watch, right? In the 50s is, if you're going to be a good housewife, you have to buy this pot or pan. In the 60s it was, you know, if you really take care of yourself and love yourself, bro, you'll buy this certain thing. They were courting, right? They were courting, they were adjusting. In the it was 90s grunge, right? It was late 90s, you know, I'm a 17-year-old and I'm sexually adventurous, bleh, right? And they're still doing that, but like, you know what I'm saying, like all along the line different things have adjusted. And for a long time, being cringe is what made black people, like, black people seemed like they were the least cringe. And I believe
Yeah.
in many ways there are many ways, although they still watch Tyler Perry. So, you know, you're not exempt, fucking black
Hey,
people, okay?
that Tyler Perry show is funny. Did you see? I'm
he
sorry.
puts on
I'm
a dress.
look, my 23andMe might say something, but I know I'm black because I'll be watching Tyler Perry and laughing for real.
Okay, you know what? I haven't actually watched the movies. I'm
Look,
just reaching for a fucking generalized
look,
joke, princess. All right,
look,
goddammit. Yes,
look. Don't insult
yes,
Tyler Perry.
I will.
He
And
helped out
continue to.
Megan. He helped out Megan and Harry. Okay.
Oh, that's true. And he also, what didn't he post something about anti, oh yeah. He said, he posted, I'm best friends with a Jewish person who really helped me when Kanye West was doing all that shit.
Okay, Tyler. Oh, helped you how?
Anyway. But, so, so, and okay, so here's what happens. We were talking about it with me and the meat of it. And Michael Anthony on my last episode of Conservatish. He's a carnivore, you know, libertarian, just fucking, you know, literally got arrested in New York for going in, him and all his friends going in and sitting down in a restaurant, even though they didn't have vaccine.
Oh my God, they didn't have the cards.
Oh my God.
Excuse
And he's part black, everybody. So you have to listen to him.
Yeah.
Fucking racist if you don't like me.
Yeah.
But you know, we were talking about the difference of where that switched over. So in 2010, it was the left was doing the what the fuck were they doing?
New
The
Age. They were very
Occupy.
New Age. Oh yeah, they
Yes,
were New Age and
Occupy.
Occupy.
Right. So that what that happened, that was a class war. That was the banks are evil, right? And then all they needed to do was just hit white people in the white guilt, like that, like a doctor with one of those mallets. You hit the knee. As long as they hit him in the white guilt, it makes them, it makes their asshole clench, and then they have to like it. Then it was all about racism. Now we need Chase Bank to help us fight racism. Fucking 10 years ago, the bank, Chase Bank, was, you know, the devil, and now all of a sudden you're like, we need, look, they put a rainbow flag on their logo, so that means they're good people, they're a good bank, right?
They are.
So all we need to do is just adjust, and wherever the black people go really is where the white people are going to go. Okay.
Yeah, that's true. Unfortunately,
Right.
it's true.
So unfortunately it's true, and it shouldn't be that way, but you know what, I'm going to use identity politics while it's still around. You know, I'm using identity politics to kill identity politics.
Yeah, that's what you have to do. Yeah, it's funny how black people are like, oh, no one likes us, except everyone follows everything you do for no reason. Like, how do you have people
Yep.
in Dubai giving an F about George Floyd? It doesn't make any sense. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Right.
But yeah,
48,
no.
48 brown people died making this fucking building that spins around, you know, that is the tallest building of all time, you know, but that those brown people don't matter because they're from a different tribe, right? But
Yeah.
America, George Floyd, George Floyd, right?
Yeah,
Anyway.
exactly. No, yeah, that's a tricky thing because right now, I don't know, the black community is yeah, it's going down a path. I don't know where it's going to lead to, but
Well, see, that's
somewhere.
this is what I keep thinking, and I'm interested to hear your thoughts about it. But I don't think black people are actually liberal. They're not. They're right.
What do you
They're
think
not.
they are?
Well, let me explain.
Yeah.
Go into Southside Chicago, go into Compton, go into fucking dirty down Detroit, right? Go into Brownsville, right? And ask a black mother if she is down with a drag queen reading to her kids.
Yeah.
Blacks are not liberal, bro. Blacks are not liberal. And the thing is, trans is where it's moving. And obviously, the machine, the liberals, the lizards, whatever you want to call them, are jettisoning blacks as quickly as possible, right?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
get that. But they still, black culture, black interest, black whatever, still has white people, which is the majority of the country, by the nose, right?
Mm-hmm.
So while that's happening, right, let's talk about what the reality is. Most of the black motherfuckers I know, and I don't think it's just because of the show, are actually, even if they have a D next to their name, like even if they vote a certain way, they can handle a joke. Maybe
Yeah.
10%. Maybe 10% of white liberals can handle a joke, maybe, right? I'd
Well,
say
could
maybe
white people handle a
90% of,
joke before this, though? I mean,
well, let's differentiate. Are you talking about white liberals or are you talking about white people in general?
I'm talking about white people in general, like white liberal. No, I'm talking about white liberals. I didn't hang. I've spent a lot of time with white liberals, and last time I checked, early 2000s, they didn't know how to handle a joke. So,
Touche.
yeah.
But a lot of people, the definition of liberal back then was different than it is now, right?
Obama loved Obama.
O-
He was.
Obama, and
He
also
was.
everybody was mad about Bush.
I had a black employee. She was nice. I fired her though, but she was nice.
Yeah, she served that chicken.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is we need the things that we need to help with the message is to continue to poke holes in the narrative, right? Now, that is not going to make the machine do a fucking thing, and it's certainly not going to change white liberals' mind because they're dumb. But it is going to change the majority of the people in the center, the apolitical motherfuckers who think they're Republican or think they're conservative or
Yeah. Who think they're
who think they're
liberals.
liberal, whatever,
Yeah.
but just haven't really thought about it, didn't really, if you think about it, even the vaccine mandates didn't really affect a lot of people outside of cities, right?
Yeah.
So as long as we grab them, the ones who are still by the nose of the black culture, and say, hey, black culture, you've been told black culture is this, it fucking isn't, right? That then we'll be more successful, I think.
Yeah, I'm concerned because for black people, you just can't. And this is where the conservatives need to actually get some some media training around it. It's like, you do not have to take everything away at once. You don't have to say, oh, by the way, we're going to take all welfare away. Oh, by the way, we're going to do this. Just ease it out. Like, ease it out.
Yeah.
Hey, we're going to make sure we don't go into a one world government with social credit scores. Step 1. Step 2 would be getting rid of, the illegal aliens. Step 3, maybe we could talk about the welfare thing. But it doesn't have to be step 1, because then you just jar people and you excite them. Because for me, I feel like for black people, they're not going to do deep research from the people that at least I know. They're not going to be doing a lot of deep research. They're not going to be picking up a book by this guy who's going to sit and talk about this and, give deep, insightful stuff. They're going to watch a YouTube video. They're going to look at the surface and what is the collective saying? Is the collective saying that we don't like Trump? Is the collective saying the Republicans are racist? What issues is the collective, looking for? And for a lot of them, unfortunately, it is around the vanity aspect, which is why Kamala Harris, was so popular, even though she's not black.
She can I just say, dude, she's never been popular. She's never been popular. Only white liberals like that bitch.
But they like her. They say
Who
she's
though? I
black.
don't.
She's black. She's black. It's just,
Who is saying that though? It's white
there are
liberals.
people saying, yes, white liberals primarily, but who else is going to say that to the other black people? Be like, oh, look, she's black. The View, what is The View saying? What is Whoopi saying? What is she saying?
Right.
So they're in the same boat as the Gen Z voters, I feel like. It's like, you trying to have a deep intellectual debate with these people, it's not going to work. You need to just paint a picture, make a movie. Like, I still feel we need a Law and Order style show with murder and mystery and all this stuff, but also, making conservative politics cool somehow, just like slipping it under the radar. So it's like something like that, or an adult Teletubbies type show where they're
Okay.
just watching, ketchup packet smash.
So,
Um,
like, as an example, we'll call it teletitties.
yeah, or politics, something like.
Ah, well done. Well done.
Yeah, something like that. So yeah, it is a big challenge because when you talk to people, they're so ingrained. They're just like, evil, racist, my vanity, my vanity, my vanity, my vanity. It's just like, dude,
Right.
get off yourself. Nobody cares.
But how we going to do that? Part of it, honestly, here's the other thing too. I was interested in talking about this too, and I know I've been. I think there's a time and place to be extremely sensitive to the vaccinated people who are waking up, right?
Yes, yes,
To the people
yes.
who are not pro mandate. I've been talking about that
Yeah,
for a couple months.
yeah.
But I will say this,
Mm-hmm.
dear lizards, I think you need to adjust your playbook a little bit. Here's why. You can't bread and circus us if the bread's running out and all the circus performers are dropping of myocarditis,
I know,
right? So
seriously.
you can't, like, if you really wanted to fuck with us and bread and circus us, you're gonna have to work on the playbook because this isn't gonna work long term. You know what I'm saying?
I think they're hoping that, enough people just drop off before, they don't have to like no, no,
Right.
no, no. Yeah, you're totally true. It totally this is the other thing. A lot of people are going to be in denial for a very long time. Do you know why? Because it's a
Mm.
huge emotional strain and mental strain to realize you put something in your body that is currently dropping, 16-year-old, 18-year-old, 23-year-olds, athletes, top shape people, dropping them dead. So, potentially, allegedly, whatever. But that's going to be a huge strain. So we have to talk around the issue without
Mm-hmm.
talking directly at the issue, which I think you do, which is like, look, let's figure this out, how this doesn't happen again,
Right.
which is understanding how to look through the propaganda, obviously. Because my thing is this: at this point, I don't really care if they did it. Just like for me, with the transformer issue, if your if your soul is telling you the only way to solve your problems is to lop off your genitals, we just gotta call that is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
There are broken units. We have to move on.
Mm-hmm.
Get help, get treatment, but don't fixate on it. We have to focus on what we can actually fix. And conservatives really want to fixate on the very worst possible solutions, or the worst possible cases. When there's a ton of people in the center who are like, "Oh, I took the jab. In the future, I'm not going to want to do that again. I'm not going to do that again."
The proof is in the numbers. The proof
Yeah.
is in the numbers. They're not getting boosted. Ain't nobody getting a fucking booster except old white fucking Jews in goddamn New York City, Beverly Hills. Be fucking real. No one's getting a 14th jab. Yeah, okay, Kathy Griffin is saying, look at me, I got my... Look at me.
No.
I'm sexually unfulfilled for the last 25 years.
For the last
But
50 years. Yeah.
swear to God, and we'll talk about that in a second. But the thing is like, yeah, that's definitely a thing. Mark Hughes, my friend, he used to talk about this, where it's like all of it is just reaction to the crazy, reaction to the crazy. At a certain
Exactly.
point, not only is that getting boring, it's getting old,
Boring.
it's also not doing anything, right? It is doing some things for some of the people in the middle just now waking up, but what is the long-term effects of us constantly looking at the crazies at the most extreme? What is the long-term effects of, did you see what this person, did you see what did you see? I'm tired of going, did you fucking see? I'm tired of it,
Yeah,
right?
I'm tired of it too.
It's not
That's what Instagram
surprising.
is. Yeah.
It's not surprising, and it's not effective. It's not getting us anywhere. And I think that one of the things that, about, me talking about defending the amateur vaccinated, one of the things me talking about whatever is just that we need to step back because it's making us too emotional, right?
It is.
And conservatives can be just as fucking nuts as not one
Literally.
more, yeah, less numbers, right? And maybe I'll talk about that in a second. But like, I just think like, um, when I if you want to see the rights crazies, go to my replies in the when I started defending the amateur vaccinated. Because there's a
Yeah.
lot of people, they wish death on me. No, they didn't, princess. No, they didn't.
That
You
was
are
your
mad at the wrong people. You're
Yeah.
mad at the wrong people. And the reason
You
why
are.
you're mad at the wrong people is because you're not doing fucking therapy, bitch. The reason why you're mad at the wrong people is because you're intellectually lazy. Right? You had a feeling, and it's a valid feeling, to be angry, to be hopeless, to be upset, to be afraid, to be fucking all this shit about what's going on. But you're pointing that anger in the wrong direction because you're intellectually lazy. And if we're going to evolve and we're going to actually win this fight, we need to fucking evolve. We need to be better at taking care of ourselves and taking care of our minds so that we don't turn out like Milo Yiannopoulos.
Well said. Exactly. Yeah, because he put himself in a really awkward situation. That was
Yeah.
unfortunate. Yeah, no, that is the message. That is the core message, Peter. We need to evolve. We need to become more sophisticated. We need to become these expert propagandists. We need to become these people who understand like the different long-term war gaming situations, like what is going to happen, what are we going to do, how are we going to counter this? And that just does not exist. That just does not exist. And I think that the people who started the whole movement and converting people over, like Candace Owens, like, like a Ben Shapiro, like all of these people who were those, figureheads, they are there to now maintain their base, to maintain their viewership, to give people more of what they want to see. So it's going to take people like us, newer people, to move the conversation forward, to evolve the conversation. Because I found that a lot of conservatives, they get very afraid of dealing with this unknown realm, this realm of thought and feelings and sabotage, and where perhaps they're not fully in control. Because they believe, if I just do X, Y, this short list of 3 things, if I'm religious, if I get married, if I do this, if I vote for Trump, let's say, then everything's going to be fine. My life is going to be fine. And that's not the case at all. We have to step up the game. It takes each and every one of us. They actually get mad at me when I say that. I'm like, you're dealing with a population of mentally ill people. Do you really think telling them what they're doing is wrong or shaming them is actually going to work? It's like talking to a schizophrenic being like, hey, dude, there's no elves under the bed. And then he's like, are you serious? Okay, cool. And then he's fine. That's not how it works. So why would you think... Why would you think that would work for you? If people think about it, we can't even, our self-dialogue, we might tell ourselves, hey, today I'm not going to eat 2 things of Chick-fil-A. I'm just going to have half of one. I'm just, I'm going to go run a mile. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Does that work? You can't even control yourself through your own personal inner dialogue. What do you think is going to happen? You just telling somebody what to do. And that's because they're so afraid of understanding this. The occults, the devils, the demons. They're all so evil. And it's like, dude, like, this is just psychology. This is just how the mind works. I'm sorry. You can't use the sword as the Christians did before. That was their main method of PR campaign, was cutting motherfuckers up. But we can't do that. We have to use more subtle indoctrination.
And in extension of that, or maybe using that, as far as, do you ever see Milk?
I did see Milk. Yeah, bits and pieces of it with what's his face?
Sean
The
fucking
savior,
Penn,
the savior of the
Sean
Ukraine.
Penn. By the way, Sean Penn hates black people.
He hates black people, and
black
he hates
people.
America.
What did he say? What did he say 2 weeks ago? The unvaccinated people are criminals, right? Well. The highest demographic of unvaccinated people is black people. So Sean Penn wants to lock you up. See what gets, stop giving white liberals money and attention. Anyway, one thing at a time. In Milk.
You really hate those white liberals. Damn.
I fucking, listen, I love them. But yes, I hate them. But I'm saying, like, this is what I'm fucking saying. Okay. When you look at across the board of our real problem in this fight is a couple million white liberals and like 20 black activists. Okay. That's it. That's it. I know. It seems like it's not, but I'm saying actually this is the same thing as what I was going to say. Let's look at our actual problem and diagnose it correctly. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they worship the devil. Let's just say, let's make believe that this occult thing really is. Okay. So they're in Epstein Island, or they're in the woods, fucking each other for power games, and burning statues and praising Malach or whatever the fuck they're doing, right? Who is it? Who's doing it? Like 25 to 30 old, wrinkly, boring white motherfuckers. Okay? That's not a real problem. That's
Yeah,
not a real problem.
I don't think Jimmy
It's
Fallon is doing it. I don't
no,
think
no.
so.
And even if he was, I could fuck the shit out of. Well, not have to fuck the shit out. I'm sorry. Wow.
Look,
What do you know?
he
I,
get yeah.
I I could fuck up Jimmy Fallon, no problem. So what I'm saying is
Mm.
our real issue. Okay, oh, they fight, they do that. Okay, let's imagine they had no power. It wouldn't matter. It'd be a couple of sweaty, unfucked dudes who are in the woods going, I'm trying to get more power. I think we should cut down on the human race. Like they're
I know we need to
boring.
get
They're
them out of
turds.
here.
Right, they're
I know.
fucking turds, right? The only motherfuckers the only reason that they have any power is because of the brolic white motherfuckers at the gate. Okay, that's the only reason why they have power, is because of us going and protecting them.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. It's because of us wanting their money. But if we take a step back, if we are in control, if we are sovereign, and we correctly diagnose how fucking cringy these dum-dums are, okay? How fucking white these motherfuckers are, okay? Because I know you posted a black square because you think you care. You were being taken advantage of by white motherfuckers. That's what Black Lives Matter was. Sorry, it is what it is. George fucking Soros, Joe fucking Biden, all a bunch of old rich white motherfuckers who just want your fucking money. They want your fucking vote. They want more power. That's all it was. I know you think you had good intentions, so I'm not gonna fucking hit you on the head too much, but I am gonna say you got fucking jacked, okay?
Yeah.
So we just need to accurately diagnose. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. And the unfortunately the vanity aspect is where they can't take a step back and say, "Hey, I made a big mistake. Now I'm just funding other white people, not those other white people. Those white people." It's like it's insane, and that's where we can come in and give it a soft landing. Be like, "Yeah, I know. Yeah, you sort of made Bill Gates like a billion trillion more wealthy, but everybody, take an L, George Soros, we got to take the L and keep it moving. It's not a big deal. Like, give them
No.
that psychological pass so that we can use them in the future for our agenda. Because it's not about them. It's about getting them to do what you want them to do. And that's where the conservatives don't have that ability. They cannot separate their ego. Like real propagandists, they don't give a fuck. They just want you to do what they want you to do. Whatever it is, if it doesn't work, they'll try something else. It doesn't matter. They have that distance. But conservatives are like, this is my personal opinions. I love my country. Oh, why don't you love it too? And then they get upset and they get angry rather than, hey, I just need you to achieve this goal, which is to, let's say, not to have public outrage against the border crisis. I just need you guys to have that. You can make up whatever goddamn reason you want it to be. It could be because the immigrants are destroying Planned Parenthood. Whatever it is, like, just put it together. Be like, oh, they're pissing on the Planned Parenthood. There was 8 black women who wanted to have 9-month-old abortions. Like,
Right.
like, just whatever you have to do it and be creative, because that's how it works. It doesn't matter what's right or wrong. It matters what you can get them to believe and ultimately what you can get them to do to act. And I know that sounds really crass and harsh and like, oh, but we have to be virtuous and good. And it's like, okay, that's great, but you're dealing with people who have severe psychological problems, who are incredibly damaged, multiple levels, not just, and this is where the generational thing comes in. Not just on the surface, not just they had a bad day, they had years and years of programming and damage. You're not going to undo that instantly. So you need to be able to just, hey, just finesse them over here. Just slowly move it over here. And if we can take a step back and do that, we can change the world, honestly.
Right. I've been reading a bunch about. I just finished a book on Napoleon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm reading a book on Alexander the Great. I've read books and read a lot about fighting and Tyson and a couple of other people. And that is consistent is that when you are over emotional,
Yeah.
you do not make good decisions. You usually lose the fight
Yeah.
when you are over emotional. Same thing applies here, right? Where same thing like you're saying, you get emotional. I'm not saying you shouldn't have a belief system or a desire for or an end goal, but I'm saying if you're going to get that end goal, you cannot be a little bitch about it. You cannot be swayed by your emotions, because then who are you fighting? You're not fighting the person that you're fighting yourself,
Yeah.
right? You're
You
hopped
are.
up and you're
And
when people
also,
who
you're
take a step
not.
back and breathe and just go, okay, I think I'm gonna punch here, and then I think, oh, okay, let him tire himself out. They're letting us tire ourselves out. Stop it.
Yeah, exactly. Because when you, like you said, when you're emotional, you're honestly not using the full capabilities of your mind. You're stuck
Right.
in your limbic system. You're just acting like an
Limbic.
animal. You're not
Limbic.
reaching, oh, let me like strategize. Let me come up. Let me not react to this. Let me react to this later on, later on. It's just, it's all about the timing of it all. But when you're
Right.
stuck in that, oh my God, they're transing the kids. Okay, well, we'll work on a actual strategy for it, not just
Right.
normalizing it by repeating it over and over and over again as if they've been doing this for 100 years when it's actually been a few months.
Right.
Because that's unfortunately what a lot of conservatives do, is they help normalize things because they just start talking about it, and then suddenly it seems like, oh, that's just how things have always been.
Right.
So it's a struggle to deal with it. It's a struggle to deal with a group of people who want to do good so much but are not, like, on the conservative side, they want to do good. They're interested in their self-preservation, they're interested in their communities, but they don't have the tools necessary to actually pull it off. And then you have the left that wants to look good so much. They want to feel like they're doing good so much, and they have the tools, but they're ultimately, driving toward an agenda that will end in them, and not just them being victims, everybody being victims. Because again,
Right.
victims only know how to re-victimize themselves. If someone tells you they're a victim, 9 times out of 10, their decision, who they decide to partner up with, what job they're going to take, how they're going to prioritize their time, is going to lead to them, being victimized again. And that's, I mean, we have to, I don't know how we can get that out there, because it's like, why are we listening to these people? Like,
Right.
they're losers. I don't
Right.
get it.
Well, and part of the way we stop that is by making us winners,
Yeah,
right?
I know.
And
Look like
and
winners.
right, and one of the ways we do that is by, sorry conservatives, I'm gonna fucking say it, so you cover your fucking ears.
Uh-oh.
Is by self care. Ooh, what does he mean? He must have fucking. He must, he worships the pagan. Shut the fuck up, stupid. Okay, dumbass motherfucker. I was in church yesterday, stupid ass motherfucker. What I'm saying is this: whatever version of self care it is for you, call it getting baptized or praying or reading your fucking Bible or, getting meditation or doing fucking deep fucking cryotherapy. Do whatever the fuck you need to do. But unless you're self-caring up in this motherfucker, unless you're evolving, unless you're taking care of yourself, like, how's your fucking meditation? You know what I mean? I was I was helping this dude once, and he was talking to me. It's just, I'm so upset about this and I'm so upset about that and this in the world, and
Yeah.
like, he was so fucking swept up around. And then I was like, so how's your apartment? He's like, well, I mean, I do have a problem, like, take this. I'm like, how's your sink? It's filled with dirty dishes. I'm like, can we focus on that first?
Clean your
Because I'll tell you
room.
what, if I'm sorry, there it is.
Clean your
If
room.
unless you know what's going to be a lot easier and a lot better, a lot more effective way to fix all them is to fix yourself first, right? It's a lot easier, as I've heard it said. It's a lot easier to buy a pair of slippers than to carpet the world, right?
Ooh,
We need to
that
make
is
ourselves
deep.
better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't come
Mm-hmm.
up with it, but yeah.
No, we need to. We need to for sure. And for anyone who thinks that they're perfect, let's do a
Right.
little bit more work. Let's move on to phase number 2. Well, this has been a really interesting conversation, Peter, as usual. I'm just really glad we can connect on the new year. And I have just like one more question. I just wanted to know, what do you see for 2023? Any ideas
In what
yet?
in
Any
what realm?
feelings?
In what realm?
Just in the political arena, how society's going to evolve. Where's the narrative going? Where do you see the narrative going? Because a lot of people are fed up. A lot of people are getting real scared. They're looking over their shoulder, seeing all these suddenly,
Mm,
getting a little
mm.
paranoid. Where do you think it's going?
I think if we're not, and by we, I guess I partially mean the new Congress, and by we, I mean us, like in the sphere, unless we're conscious about our decisions, unless we're smart about the way we package them, it may go poorly.
Yeah.
Similar to what you're talking about, right? So sometimes we get taken advantage of, like Lindsey Graham a few months ago was like, okay, well, we need to call for a ban on abortion countrywide. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm looking around, like, I follow a lot of pro-lifers. No one's calling for that, dude. Like,
No one
you're alone.
cares.
And not right. And neither does Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham doesn't give a fuck about abortion. He just wants more power and money, and he's probably trying to sabotage motherfuckers in the Republican
Yeah.
Party.
Two
But
wings.
right. So, and by the way, I can't even remember if it was Lindsey Graham. It may have been Mitch
It
McConnell.
was
I don't know
Lindsey.
who
It was
it
Lindsey
was.
Graham.
Okay,
Hmm.
I thought so. So as this new base is, in Congress, right, and as they're making decisions to do this, I'm not saying soft shoe, but I'm saying what we need to do is connect the dots. You just said a lot of people are fed up. That's not just the feeling on the street. I'm seeing it everywhere. I'm seeing it
Yeah.
everywhere on that big old fucking, and it's a lot of fucking black people, a lot of even white motherfucker, a lot of white liberals are kind of fucking like,
Yeah.
I don't like what's going on, but I
Yeah.
know I'm not allowed to question it because that would make me a racist, right? What we
Yes.
need to do is connect the dots between, I know you're frustrated. You're right. You're right. It's okay to be you should be angry right now. So see all this shit that the Congress is doing that CNN told you to be mad about? Just connect the dots. Oh, wait a second. You're frustrated because of them that they're fighting, right? You're frustrated because of government. Government is the problem, and you're frustrated because of it. And now we just need to connect the dots for them. And I believe we've already done that. Culture Wars already fucking won. Absolutely goddamn lutely. Sorry, it fucking is. Nobody is turning woke now. No one was
No.
pro
No.
pro fucking government
No
for
one's
the last
suddenly
4
being
years.
like, you know what? Racism is real.
Right.
Like no one's
Right.
doing that.
It's only happening the other way. And so we need
Hmm.
to be conscious, and we need to be good about the way we catch those politically homeless.
Yes.
We need to catch them consciously, and we need to be like, I know you're right. You're not racist. You're not transphobic. You're not. And here's an example: trans person, conservative, black conservative, Puerto Rican. Break all those identity politics up, right? And then connect the dots. But you know who did keep you from seeing your fucking grandma while she was dying? This guy with a D next to his name. You know who
Yeah.
did make you take this drug that's making you scared? This guy with a D next to his name, or an R. And we just need to connect those dots for him. But we need to be very conscious. I'm not saying we shouldn't be proactive. I'm not saying we shouldn't attack, because we absolutely fucking should. But I'm saying we need to be conscious about it, and not servile, not scraping, not like, oh, I'm not a racist, but I'm going to vote this way.
Yeah.
No. We need to be actively
Strong.
comforting the people
Hmm.
who are now joining our ranks.
Yeah. Strong position. No shaming. No guilting people. No gloating. We need to get them to do what we need them to do, which is to not obviously lead us into the Great Reset and all of
Mm.
that mess. And the solution, and give them multiple solutions. Like, it doesn't have to be voting for Donald Trump. Okay. They like let them not. They don't have to do that. They can just say, "Hey, I don't want to go into slavery." Okay. Okay, cool. We're on the same page with that. So find a common
Right.
ground.
Right.
Maybe they don't want children trans. There's common ground
Right.
to be found.
Right.
So I love that. Yeah, I think that is really insightful, and that's exactly what we need to do. We need to keep pushing the message forward and really strategize the correct messaging to get them to do what we want. Because it's like, do you want to be right or do you want to win? Because they might not think that you're right, but you can definitely still win. That's my thing.
Right.
All right.
Awesome.
Well, thanks again.
Thank
Give
you
us a
so much
shout
for having
out
me on.
to your channels, your platforms again,
Oh
and
yeah.
your next date.
Yeah. So I have a show on January 14th, this Saturday, and it's going to be at Swan Dive in Austin. I'm an incredible singer-songwriter and performer. You can tell by my voice. And my music is kind of like a mix of Jack Black, Jeff Buckley, and like a little bit of punk. I'm going to have some surprises for you. This is going to be my first show in 3 years. So yeah, it's going to be awesome. So be there. And otherwise, you can find my music on Spotify, iTunes, everywhere. And what else? Oh yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Peter_Feliciano. You can find me on Twitter at Rule62Peter. And you can support my podcast and my music at patreon.com/conservatish. And anything else? Oh yeah. I have a show, weekly show called Conservatish, on it twice now, I think.
Yes.
And always great episodes. But yeah, find me and support me. And I'm a half Puerto Rican, so if you don't, you're a racist. And yeah, this has been awesome. I always love chatting with you, Layla. Thank you so
It's
much, dear.
so fun. And the first podcast, first episode, first live of the new year. So there we go. This is Propaganda Fluent, where we discuss propaganda, social engineering, and mind control. And everything that involves living in this psyop we call life. So thanks for watching, like, and subscribe. You can find me on Instagram as well. And I'll be doing regular lives and recaps and reviews so we can come up with a much better strategy, because we don't want to just be right. We ultimately want to win. Thanks. All right.